Hello inspiring Charitam fans. How are you doing? We bring stories that are unique and inspirational. This story is about a lesbian married couple. The wife had an affair and wanted to pass the affair baby as the gift of their life. Let's hear it. Ruby was brought up by her single mother in a small town in the state of California. She was clear about her sexuality since her teenage. Her mother was her pillar of support. She started dating women in high school. But during college, she met Alice. Alice was bisexual and came out of a bad relationship. Ruby and Alice grew closer over summer vacation and then started dating. They were together ever since. They moved to San Francisco and started working. The first transgression happened at a bar in 2015, 3 years after they started dating. Ruby caught Alice kissing another guy in the bar. Alice cried and apologized for her mistake. She kept insisting that was a weak moment and she was in love with Ruby. It was way too much for Ruby to handle. She made boundaries and Alice agreed to it. A few months later, Alice proposed and Ruby said yes. In early 2017, Alice and Ruby were married. They were a very happy couple. They did things together and had common interests. They always had their backs and it all went like a fairy tale. But during early 2018, everything fell apart. Alice had been going on several business trips due to her job. Alice promised Ruby that once everything settled down, they would plan for a family. They both were excited. But Alice asked her some time so that she can manage her professional and personal life. Ruby had always been supportive and was behind her completely. After a week-long business trip, Alice came and looked exhausted. She was tired and wanted to take some rest. She decided to take a day off the next day, but Ruby had to go to the office. At noon, Alice called her that she was visiting a doctor. A worried Ruby came home early to support her wife. But her repeated calls were not answered. She decided to clean the house by the time she came back. But she got the shock of her life while cleaning out the garbage. The trash can had a used pregnancy test. Her voice choked and her heart sunk seeing that. She was confused but did understand what was going on. Half an hour later, Alice came back and apologized for not picking up the calls. She was apparently driving. Ruby asked her what the doctor told, and Alice's face turned pale. Ruby asked her whether she was pregnant and Alice started crying. She nodded. Ruby was adamant and yelling how she felt pregnant. Alice just evaded the question and said that how that mattered. This baby could be a blessing for their life. They could be a happy family. But Ruby wasn't letting it go. Alice finally admitted that she had an affair with her boss in the office. The baby was his. She held Ruby's hand and said that her boss didn't want to be part of this baby's life. She would change jobs and they could keep the baby. Ruby could barely say anything. She was too shocked to comprehend and say anything. She mumbled few words but somehow entered the bedroom and locked herself. Alice cried outside the door and begged for forgiveness. She said that the affair was over and they could build the family they wanted. Ruby was crying and could not believe what Alice was saying. She simply wanted the affair baby to be raised by both of them as parents. Sure, she is a lesbian, but that does not mean she had to raise an affair baby of her wife. She was devastated and knew her marriage was over. She just could not take the betrayal. She called her mother who still lived in the town, some 200 miles from San Francisco. Her mother came to pick her up and took her away. Alice tried crying, begging, but Ruby didn't even look at her. She was hiding her pain, shame, and everything else. But the worst was yet to come. A disgusted Ruby decided to dig more information. Her mother advised her to contact a lawyer first to ensure she didn't become legally responsible for the child. They were still married at that time of conception. But she needed to have proof that the baby was a result of an affair and not a mutual decision. After a week, she went back to her place. She played along the lines of reconciliation but remained withdrawn. All she needed was some kind of proof to establish the baby was the result of an affair. The first thing she did was to make Alice write a confession letter. Alice did. Then Ruby wrote her clearly that she isn't ready to parent the affair baby. This broke Alice's heart, but she hoped that Ruby would change her mind. Ruby installed cameras around the house and on weekend, left for mother's place. Sure enough, Alice and her boss were doing it on their marital bed. She never stopped the affair. Ruby kind of expected it. But then it was time for payback. She gathered the information of the boss, which was easy because Alice tagged him in so many photos on Facebook. Finding his wife wasn't a big deal either. Ruby reached out to her and explained. His wife dismissed Ruby like a prank, but Ruby insisted on showing proof. They decided to meet and she showed her all the proofs she had. His wife was expectedly heartbroken. They had 3 children and her elder daughter also shared the news of the pregnancy a few days back. She was just devastated. Ruby consoled her and apologized to be the person to break the news. In tears, she barely thanked her and left. Meanwhile, Ruby initiated the divorce process. She moved back to her mother's place. She did tell Alice that she isn't willing to reconcile. Alice was confused, but then Ruby exposed her lies. Alice was ashamed and could not speak. She just sat around the corner and cried. In the divorce papers, Ruby mentioned the name of the app name as well and requested the court to establish a paternity test. On the other hand, affair partner's wife also started filing for the divorce. It was way too much for Alice and her affair partner. Alice just wanted to get out of the situation and asked Ruby what she wanted. They didn't really have many common assets. They decided to split the joint account into half. Alice earned more than Ruby and agreed to a 24 months alimony payout. Ruby was clear of any kind of legal parenting claim and child support. Their divorce was finalized months later. The affair partner took a DNA test on the insistence of his wife. She told him that Alice could pass off someone else's baby as well. But he was the father. But the doubt of affair partner broke the trust of Alice apparently, and they stopped seeing each other. The affair partner agreed to pay child support but wanted to do nothing with the child. They decided to reconcile for the sake of the family. However, the affair partner had to sign a prenup and also passed a few of the assets to his wife. Alice is a single mother now and her baby is doing well. She was changed her job and currently looking to leave the state for good. She did come back to apologize to Ruby again after the divorce, but Ruby's mother just pushed her away. As far as Ruby is concerned, she is doing much better. She has quit her job and decided to travel for the next 6 months with her mother. They are eyeing different locations in Europe and Asia. The story is from pre-COVID year, so yeah, traveling was still a thing then. People often belittle a person who walks out of an affair baby. The argument is always that what was the fault of the baby? Practically speaking, none. But was it the fault of a betrayed spouse? It isn't. A child deserves to be loved and cared for by both the parents, and raised in a house where the child will always be seen as a result of a betrayal isn't a good deal. What do you think about the story? Please share the feedback and your suggestions. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell icon to get a notification whenever a new video is uploaded. Please check the other videos in the channel too. Stay healthy and happy. Have a great rest of the day wherever you are. Thank you so much for watching.